Beautiful souls, today's conversation is one I think you'll stay long after it is over. You might even repeat it. If you've ever felt like you've lost yourself beneath the weight of life, right? Raise your hand. Or experiences or wondered if healing is truly possible, I believe Marlena's story and wisdom will remind you that you are not broken. You're simply carrying the weight of the world that doesn't need to be on your back. Friends, hey there. Welcome in, beautiful souls. I'm Vicky Labrilia, your travel size emotions coach, helping you navigate the roller coaster ride of emotions, revelations, and all that comes with adulting. So get comfy because we're about to dive into the nitty gritty of unblocking all that emotional weight and letting the sunshine right back into your life. Don't forget to like, share, follow, and subscribe, and of course, leave an honest review at the end of this episode. It's free, it means the world to me, and it helps this podcast reach more ears. Now, friends, it's time to unblock your blessings, and I'm effing excited. I'm so excited because today's guest is Marlaina Williams, a Navy veteran, registered nurse, certified holistic healthcare practitioner, functional nutrition consultant, international best-selling author, and founder of the Creative Fire Alchemy and Alchemy of the Sacred. For nearly 2 decades, Marlaina has served others through healthcare while also walking her own journey of healing and transformation. Today, she helps people reconnect with who they are beneath the layers of trauma, service, sacrifice, and life experiences. Marlaina, I am so excited you're here. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
The stars aligned, and honestly, this happened more quickly than I anticipated. I don't know about you, but it just was like, yeah, I'm free this time. You're free this time. Let's bang it out.
Let's do it. Yeah, I was excited. I was like, yeah, let's just kind of go whenever we can. This
Yeah.
works for me.
I love it. So, for my listeners, they are most likely brand new to your space. And before we press record, in all honesty, I was like, I got a lot of questions. There's so much to you. You are a great human doing great things, and your life story has brought you to where you are today. So, I'd
Mhm.
love to start at the beginning. What led you from serving in the Navy and working as a registered nurse to creating the Creative Fire Alchemy?
Well, I think there's a lot of story before the Navy transition in nursing.
Okay.
Like all this started like way back when I was a kid, in the life that I kind of lived, which I think everybody's story does that, right? Like I had experienced so many different things in my life, from being very different as a child. I was very sensitive, emotional, all that kind of stuff. And it was more like you want a hug? Okay. Like, and so I like learned really young how to adapt to the environment which I lived in. I call it my chameleon self. I had a father that unfortunately was an alcoholic, incredible person, but still, that affects the family in a lot of ways. And a mother that I never really was able to meet eye to eye until, later on in life, right before she passed, which I was grateful for. But so I think, having that, that ability to like shut my light down, or not ability, but shutting my light down and being able to like conform to what was going on in my life and to make myself feel safe in that environment, no matter what, was a skill that I adopted very well. And I'm very good at it. And it's a skill that does still serve me today. So from there, I had suffered through, lots of trauma, abuse, sexual abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse. I ended up joining the Navy when I was 19, and I went into the Navy. And then again, I had been sexually assaulted while I was in there, as well as many other different traumatic events. But that kind of led me to getting out of the military a little early and living in this place where I literally was like, I was in the Navy with like this whole career ahead of me. And then 2 weeks later, I was out. And I was like, what? I don't even know. Like I had all this trauma and all these things, and they were like, we're just gonna let you go. And so trying to establish, from that point, like where do I go from here? Like, what do I do? I don't know. I spent a lot of time doing drugs and drinking and, really just trying to numb out life and survive. And then there was always been something, though, no matter how deep and dark things got, there was something that was like, hey, this is not what you're supposed to be doing. This is not, this is not for you. Like there's more. You have so much more, either to give, to experience, to all the above. I had no idea. But when that knock came, I was like, okay, like I don't even know what that means. But it was somewhere deep, like from deep in. I don't even know how to describe it. And so that kind of led me to be like, okay, I got to do something. So to be honest, how I joined the Navy was a friend of mine was doing it, and she's like, "You want to join the Navy?" I'm like, "Sure, whatever, let's do it." And then when I decided to become a nurse, it was I heard an ad on the radio for it, and I was like, "Oh, that sounds good." Like I wasn't making the decisions that like, "Oh, I really want to do that." I was making
Yeah.
decisions like someone else is making them for me, and I was just going along with
You
it.
were ready to pivot. You're like, okay, let's.
Whatever,
Mm-hmm.
let's do it. So then I became a nurse. And, I spent obviously, I've been a nurse for 20 years now. Um, and so I was functioning, I was doing all the things. I, had a house, I was engaged, I, had a retirement, I had a good job, I had an education, I had all those
You check the
things.
boxes, right? You
Oh,
were,
yeah, every box, blah, blah,
uh,
blah, blah.
uh-huh.
But I felt so like what was experiencing in my life was not coherent with what was going on inside me. You know, I felt like there was something kind of else happening, like something else was calling me, So I um kind of woke up from this space going like, who is this? What is this skin suit I'm wearing? I don't
Yeah.
even know like what this is.
Uh-huh.
And I had no idea who I was. And so that inconsistency or incoherence between my external world and what was going on in my internal world, I didn't know how to articulate it or what it was. I was just like, oh, there's something off.
Hmm.
And so that kind of started me on my journey of spiritual awakening and holistic medicine and all the different little tips and tricks that I have up my sleeve now.
Hmm.
And so that's kind of how that kind of, that awakening through that. And then going on my own journey by experiencing all these different, modalities and,
Hmm.
things like that kind of brought me to where I am. And that started Creative Fire Alchemy.
Oh my gosh. It goes so much deeper. So then there's a lot here, and my brain's going in all different directions. The ability, not the ability. I think every woman has the inner knowing, whether they know it or not. That inner knowing
Mm,
on a soul level, you can't see it, but you just know without a doubt there's something off. This
mm,
doesn't feel right. And it takes bravery and courage and awareness to have the desire to find out what the hell that is. What is that?
mm,
So you
mm-hmm.
check those boxes, right? You did those
Yep.
things, and maybe in the moment you felt like that was right. But there
Mm,
was that inner child, inner knowing wherever in that soul of yours. It's like, this isn't it. You can be
yeah.
great at it. And that is a wild game. You can be great at a lot of things, but is it necessarily
Uh,
your thing that you're supposed to be doing? You get to be doing.
right, right. Because you could be highly functional and doing all the things and look from the outside. Like always looked put together. I was always well dressed, look put together, like all that. But
Mhm.
what everybody else saw was not what I was experiencing in the inside. There was such
Mhm.
a disconnect. And so, yeah, you can be highly functional. You can be doing all the things, you can be really good at your job, right? But does that
Mhm.
job really like feed your soul and
Yeah,
your purpose?
light you on fire.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of women listening, and including myself, I spent 13 years at a job that I could do, and I was really fucking good at it. I'm not tooting my own horn, but like I loved what I did. I worked with children. I worked in a
Mm,
private school. I knew my strengths, but it didn't light me on fire.
mm,
At that capacity, at that level, it just wasn't it. But it took me a long time for me to believe in myself, right? Building up that belief of there's something more. You don't know what it is. And I don't think that's our job to have the knowing. We're supposed to have the desire and lean into it. The
The
universe figures it out.
curiosity,
But, what'd you say?
the curiosity.
Yes, yes.
Mm.
And, I feel like lately, and I don't follow a lot of social media, I'll be honest with you. I'm on it for work, but following it, like, no, I don't know what's really going on. Whether or not you agree with it or not, that's on you. But I I think there's a lot of people in this world numbing out,
Mm.
absolutely numbing out because of all of the accumulative trauma they've experienced. And at any level, it's not parallel. It's not like you hit the trauma mark so you can call it trauma. No. Oh my gosh. And I actually would love your opinion on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big T, little t trauma, the body doesn't know the difference, right?
Yep.
Like my trauma compared to someone else's trauma, we do that a lot, comparison, kills all things that are, you know, I don't know, there's like some, whatever they say, I don't remember exactly what it is right now, but it kills it, right? Because you're comparing yourself to someone else who, yeah, that person may have been abused or whatever, and you weren't. So you're like, oh, I don't have any trauma, but that's not true. Your body doesn't know their experience.
Mhm.
Your nervous system doesn't know their experience. Your nervous system only knows your experience and how your body like interpreted that experience. So anybody that thinks that there are little tiny things that they went through or nothing, that's not true. Does it mean that it has to be this big traumatic thing that blows up your whole life? No, it doesn't, right? It's all perspective, like how you perceive that situation and how you perceive yourself getting out of that situation in a way that not only provides wisdom, but can provide a different route.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. So, another question I had for you, friend, was there a defining moment? Some people have it, and others, it's like the whole story. But was there a defining moment that completely changed the way you viewed the healing, or should I say, the healing that you gave yourself after experiencing what you have experienced?
Um, so you were asking me if there's like this certain moment where I was like, aha, like
Yeah,
or
kind of like an
whatever.
aha moment of like, okay, I've maybe had enough, or it was like, no, like I have all this data from life experience, but I know that there is something more. Was
Mhm.
there that defining moment of like, nope, okay, I'm gonna turn the faucet on and I'm going to tap into this over here, the abundance, the growth.
I think that yoga saved my life in so many ways. I feel that stepping into that, like the very beginning, I mean, it took me a long time to actually step into it, right? Like
Mhm.
the fear of, I was quite a bit heavier then. I was almost 170 pounds, 75 pounds. And I had just basically hidden myself from the rest of the world, just trying to numb everything, didn't want to be around people. I just wanted to keep myself hidden. And so, I think that, there was this moment, I think it was right out in my kitchen, I think, honestly, where I was just like, I felt uncomfortable in myself. Like wanted to scratch off my own skin. I'm like, I don't even know what this skin is. Like, get it off me because I have no idea.
Who is
And
this?
I was like, and it was just like this clear moment. And I was like, okay, something has got to shift. And I'm not going to be making big strides and changing everything all at once. Like, that's not okay. Like, what I want to do is little bites. Like, what's the first thing I can do to start that process? And I think that's part of the biggest problem people face is there's so many options. There's so many different things that they don't really know or all the above, right? So it's like but it doesn't matter what action it is as long as it's one, just one tiny one. That's all you need. And so I started like doing yoga, and that took me almost a month even to get to the studio. So, and that just kind of started me on the journey of learning to reconnect to the body I had been so disconnected to from all my trauma. Like this body like failed me,
Mhm.
right? That was the intent, this disconnect from here down. Like, I don't like you. You have not served me well. Things have happened. I'm disgusted with you, right? And that that disconnect was the way in which I went into the world. And so yoga gave me an opportunity to reestablish that trust again and realize that I have a body. This is mine and is nothing to be ashamed of.
Mm-mm.
And those things that happened to me were not my fault. And there are so many other people that are suffering inside their body.
Okay, well, I okay. I chuckle because didn't even think we were going to go here. And that's why I love real conversation. That's why real connection matters. And that's why this podcast exists, because this is going to land on the right soul.
It's the
Uh,
hope.
Never said this out loud publicly. Um, Not the first time. One of the times that I was raped was from a Navy guy,
Mm,
my younger years. And when you're talking about your body failed you, you know,
mm,
you shelter, you protect yourself, and every experience is different. There's
mm,
similarities throughout. There's a there's an energy around it, if you want to call it that. But I understand completely what you mean of, you went to drinking, you went to all those things to numb that experience because you claimed it as yours. My assumption is you claimed it as yours for a while, which I have
mm,
not spoken to any other woman that has said otherwise. It's like
mm,
you, until you know you had nothing to do with that, it is not your fault. It's where our minds go. So
mm,
the self-numbing and all of the things that we do to mask and not face what it is, that hit home. Wow.
mm,
Yeah. And it took a long time. It took a
mm,
long time and a lot of love on my end that I had to
mm,
give myself.
100%.
But still to this day, and I'm going to be 40 in September. There's not a month that goes by that it doesn't pop into my head
Mm,
at least once, like a quick glimpse of like whose body is this? Like I I'm now awake in a sense of I get to do better because I deserve better.
mhm,
Like my body is the only vessel I will ever have in this lifetime. So I get
mm,
to love on it hard. I get to do things.
mm,
I get to feed it how it wants to be fed from from a place of love, not a place of I can't deal, so I'm going to eat. I can't
mm,
deal, so I'm going to mask. And I love that yoga for you. I mean, you just said it saved your life
mm,
because it brought you back to who you are. You always have been
mhm,
without that label of a situation that happened years ago.
mhm.
Does this make sense? I mean, I'm
Oh,
sure.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And I want to say to you, first of all, I see you.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Mhm.
And I feel you.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry that you had to experience that.
Girl, I didn't know
100%.
we were going here today. That's wild. Yeah.
You never know.
You don't.
Creator creator has a plan. We just have to be open to that
Oh, so
plan.
true. So true. Yes. Um,
Um,
Go
so
ahead.
yeah, it definitely does create that disconnect.
Hmm.
And it's like I think for a long time, I was like in this victimhood where I was like something external broke me because those are the terms I would use back then. And so something external has to fix what broke me.
Hmm.
And it took me a long time to realize that even though I didn't do anything to deserve any of those things, that I needed to take responsibility for myself.
Hmm.
I needed to say, nothing out there is going to fix me. Not a pill, not a person, not anything else. I am the only one that can do this work. Now, do I get help? Absolutely. Do I ask for somebody to be like, I need some knowledge, I need some wisdom, tell me how to do this pose, tell me how to, and then you get curious and it starts to spiral. But it is only me that can make that decision for myself. That is true sovereignty
Hmm.
of yourself, saying, I am the only one. And once you external, like you actually internalize and externalize those things coherently exist, then it's like you get to explore. And you're like, okay, like I'm the only one that's suffering in this situation. That person that did that to me is not suffering.
Hmm.
That person is like, I'm not even a thought in their mind.
Not at all. Not at all.
Not at all. So why
Mm-mm.
are they a thought in mine?
Yep.
Why am I letting them steal my peace and my ability to fulfill it, like fully live this life that we've been given?
Hmm.
And even though I would say I never would want anybody to experience trauma, like that is the goal. But I know all of those experiences needed to happen for me in order to be who I am and where I am right now. And I think that is the one thing that gives me solace to know that, yeah, that sucked. And does it cross my mind? Absolutely.
Hmm.
Do certain fears still come up in my existence? Absolutely. But that's part of nature. It's about what do you do when that comes up? It's about the action that you take. It's about the thoughts that you bring in and not that you bring in, right? Or the thoughts that you produce, not the ones that just kind of come in and try to steal the show.
Hmm.
Those are not the ones we want, right? Like we try to say, okay, thought, have fun. But this is not where you belong right now. I'm gonna start to enter into my own consciousness and recreate that situation for me to feel safe in a way that even if those thoughts do come up, like I have something to do with them.
Yes. Yes. Oh, wow. Okay. I'm gonna go back to my notes here because there's a question I highlighted. But this, okay, in your bio that you sent me, I ask every guest on my podcast to send me a bio because I want to highlight who they are and how they serve. So there was something in your bio that stood out to me actually, and you said people are not broken.
Mm-mm.
Okay. I think women need to hear this a lot more than they do.
Mm.
I would love for you to tell me what that means to you.
So like I said, broken. Like that's how I used to feel because I felt like I, as a human, as a soul, as whatever I thought I was back then, was completely broken. But what I realized is that every experience that we have in this world becomes a lens, right? A lens through which we see the current moment. And, those lenses are not who you are. They're lenses of experience, right? They're how your body and your mind, well, how your mind organizes things in order for them to make sense, right? In order for you to survive, they've created this armor that you wear, and it's like, oh, this is who I am, right? But there's a separation. When you live through life in like autopilot and stuff like that, then you are living through that that armor. You're seeing life through all of those lenses because
Mhm.
those lenses have protected you, right?
Mhm.
And so once you start to like remove those lenses and remove that armor, like the person that's beneath that is you, and you were never broken. Just many things have, altered your vision, altered your perception of life and who you are. And so when you say you're broken, it makes people feel like, oh my God, there's something wrong with me. It's not something wrong with you at all. There's
Mhm.
nothing wrong with you. You just may have lost a connection to who your essence really is, to that soul, to that person underneath all that crap. So that's kind of where
I
I
like
think.
that. Well, when you were giving your analogy, I think of it as glasses.
Mhm.
A lot of women have different kinds of glasses, different shades, different. I have a few, I'm not gonna lie. But it's like depending on what you're seeing and perceiving the world in front of you as, what glasses do you have on?
Mm,
How is it skewing the actual reality?
right.
Because you and I could be in the same room looking at the same things in front of us and perceive it in such a different way.
Mm, that is the key. Perception.
Hmm.
Perception, because all of us can have the same experience, but the
Hmm.
way in which our body, our mind, our soul, our experience sees it is completely different. right? So it's all about how that perception of what we see in that moment and having the awareness, right? Awareness is huge. I think it's the first step for pretty much anything to
Hmm.
be fully integrated into your life.
Hmm.
And so having that awareness that, okay, like, I don't know if that one fits anymore. I just don't think that doesn't feel right, right?
Yeah,
Like, and then going, okay, like maybe what is it like, what is its purpose? What does it do for me? What has it done for me? And give it its grace and say thank you. And then, you know, time to let it go.
we don't have to put it in that proverbial bag. Like,
Mm-mm.
no, ladies, it doesn't have to go in the bag and be with you always. No, 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 no,
Nope.
no. It can show up. You can think it. Like, I appreciate the word. Okay, what is this teaching me, telling me, saying? Okay, thank you. Like you said, I appreciate you. Now, here you go. Don't put stuff in the bag. It's not
Right.
a to-go thing.
Mm-mm.
Not at
And I
all.
think and I think when you appreciate it though, because I think a lot of the times people, there's a lot of shame around a lot of things that we experience in life. And anger towards ourselves,
Hmm.
and all these other things. And it's like if you kind of give that lens or that whatever that experience is, like gratitude, you're realizing that you're that's not part of you, right? Like thank you for what you did. It just makes it easier and gratitude and love build from that, right? It's like the biggest relationship we have is with ourselves.
Absolutely.
And so having that internal dialect of love and acceptance and compassion and curiosity is how you're able to move through a lot of those things in a way that really creates sustainable change.
Hmm. And everyone's deserving of that change.
Oh,
I
100%.
I'm a big proponent of changing the environment around you the best you can with what you have to work with. Again, what you
Mm-hmm.
said earlier in this podcast episode is it starts here. There's no external validation. There's no person, thing, place that's going to do the work for you. We get to choose in, and it
Mm-hmm.
starts here, inside with our soul. I feel like there's been a lot of misconceptions about healing, and I would love for you to share if you've ever had misconceptions or clients that come to you with this perceived idea of healing.
Yeah, so healing, and I've been kind of contemplating on you even using that word to be 100%
Okay.
honest. But I mean, a wound does heal in, biological terms, whatever. Um, but I think when they're healing or they want someone to heal them, that they're going to become somebody else, or they're going to they have to reach for something new.
Mm.
And I think that healing is more of reaching within to see what is currently there. It's not that, you're going to be the same person you were before any trauma ever happened, but you don't want to be that person
No.
anyways. You know what I mean?
No.
Like, think of all that wisdom that you would just be getting rid of, right? Like, you don't want
Yes.
to be someone else. You don't want to
Yeah.
be that person you started out as. You want to be the
Mhm.
newer, most improved version of yourself that is conscious and aware of how I am presenting to the world. And not because of how they're perceiving me, but because how I am being fully embodied in who I am.
Yeah. I love you. I wouldn't want to throw away the life experience, those teachers, those
Mm.
moments in time that brought me to where I am now.
Oh,
Was it
100%,
easy? Hell
right?
no. It was not easy. Never going to claim it was. But I would
No.
never want to throw away that experience.
Mm-mm.
Those
No.
moments in time that are so embedded and the good. I'm not just talking about the struggles. All
Mm-hmm.
those good moments that have been teachers and guides. And I'm a firm believer that we have an army of people up in heaven. Like, we got a lot of people that we are not aware of, like face to face, that are just rooting for us, that are nudging
Mm.
us in the direction that our soul wants to go. This human
Mm.
experience is wild, but I would never, ever change my story for anybody else's.
Mm-mm. No, because it's so unique. Every soul and every human on this earth is completely unique to themselves. They have a specific vibration, they have a specific frequency. No one else will ever live your life exactly as you live it, ever. It'll never happen.
No.
I will never be Marlaina again. I will never have this body again. I will never have those experiences exactly as they were laid out for me again.
Mhm.
So I think a lot about is like taking those pieces and those experiences and really how can I take all that and like move it forward into a more coherent existence and fully like live and embody in myself, ground. I'm here.
Mhm.
It's like the more spiritual I become, the more grounded I become.
I agree with you. I
Mm.
100% because I can feel it now. When
Oh
I
yeah.
am off, I'm like, well, shit, Vicky, what am I not doing for myself that I'm aware that serves me every
Mm.
single time? It's me neglecting inside. It's me
Mm.
tapping back to source, tapping into the divine. Uh, I like to call it my committee sessions.
I love that.
Like when I don't have my committee sessions on a more consistent basis, I start to waver and it feels like crap. So yes,
Mm.
I completely agree with you here. You are a woman of many talents, and I love how your life trajectory has led you to where you are now. You've
Mm.
served so many different people in many different roles. Do you feel that people who naturally serve others often forget themselves along the way?
100%.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, because I think that, our job or the way that we serve or the things that we do become our identity after a while, right? Like
Mhm.
it's like you can't be a nurse for 20 years and not associate with that and with all the experiences because you're not only experiencing your life experiences, you're being involved in so many other people's lives and their traumatic experiences and how it affects them. And that is not something you just come home, take it off, see you later. Like no big deal. Like especially because like we're in this profession because we care about people. We care about the human experience, we're compassionate, we love, right? So
Mhm.
it's not something so easily like just take it off and leave it at the door. So I feel like we tend to feel as though we're so good at it and that it's just second nature to us. And we don't want our ego. Like we feel like if we're worrying about ourselves, then that's egotistical or it's, really selfish and all those things. And I tell my clients and people I meet, like self-care is not selfish. It is like actually completely opposite of selfish, right? Because when you are pouring into your cup and you're doing the things that put a smile on your face, create, dance, sing, whatever that is, like the people that are around you are feeling that energy. The people around you are experiencing what that overflow feels like and they're getting the best version of you. If you're depleted, you're not eating well, you're not sleeping well, you're just, one trauma after another experiencing it, you are not providing who you truly are into the world. It's more like this is the job I carry and I carry it all the time and I am really not that important because everybody else is so much more important than I am.
Mhm. So again, squirrel, when you were talking about that, I think some humans are walking around tapped into their gifts. I'm going to call it gifts because I feel like all of us are so uniquely created with our own abilities. So one of mine is I can read a room very well. Always have. I It's a blessing from the trauma in the past. Again, would not change it for the world ever. Like I love my superpower. Thank you so much. So I love knowing that I can step into a room and you can be whoever you want to be, but I'm gonna see you for you. Whether you
Mm,
want me to see it or not, I can't turn it off. Cannot turn it off for the life of me. My husband, he just goes with the flow now. I can feel what he's feeling before he even knows it sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just like 2 doors down. There's a shift in the energy, the frequency of this house that I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, nope, something needs to change. So, I love oils. I'm going to diffuse some oils. I'm going to do what I can do. I'm going to shed other people's energy. I'm like
Mm-hmm.
legit shed it because for those that vibrate at a lower frequency, it is my understanding, and it's just how life happens. I'm like a magnet to their energy. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
ooh, let me like infiltrate. I'm like, no, sir, no, ma'am. Like, what's going on for you just has nothing to do with me. So I don't need to make it my baggage. Don't even know where I was going with that. Total squirrel moment.
Moth to a flame, girl. Moth to
You're,
a flame,
yes,
right? Like,
yes.
yeah,
I
yeah.
so I don't know. I had no idea where I was going with that.
That's okay. Because it doesn't, it's a good point though, right? Because we do go through life thinking that everybody else's baggage is our own to carry because either we witnessed it
Yeah,
or we were there when they experienced it, or because we want to take that pain from them and in like, okay, the only way I know how to do that is to put it within me, right?
take it as my own. Hmm.
Right. And that is one thing that people really need to start paying attention to. And if you do take it on, you don't have to keep it. There's ways to get rid of it, saging, that kind of stuff, like all sorts of, even taking a shower, it's the
Hmm.
intention behind whatever you're doing
Yeah.
is really the most important thing. It's not whether it's perfectly done in the way that everybody else thinks it's supposed to be done. It's what is your intention that you're putting behind what you're doing? And that is what you're doing then. That is
Hmm.
how it's being done.
Hmm.
So I think that we carry a lot of baggage that is not ours and we just don't know how to put it down.
Yeah. I love your approach of looking at the whole person instead of
Mm.
just the symptoms. And I would love for you to share why that is so freaking important. And I'm going to shut up
Ah,
because I'm like, yeah, it is. Blah. Okay.
it is so important. I feel like, and this is kind of the reason why I kind of stepped away from nursing in the context of it what I used to think it was or what it turned to be, I guess, is that every patient that I saw was like labeled, right? Like cancer, diabetes, like this guy's getting his leg cut off, this guy's getting a new knee, like whatever it is, right? Like the person became completely like they became completely oblivious to me. Like the
They were
person
the name on
beneath
the
that.
document.
Yeah, like sometimes even in the OR, like I was like, is this a guy? Is this a girl? Like I don't even remember. Like, hurry up, next person. You know, and it just felt like it was just a rush of things. And when I realized as I was going through my own healing and doing all these other certifications and all that, that like there is not one thing in one space that is going to completely help me, right? Like we have we try to heal in silos. Like we have mental health over here, we have physical health over here, we have our community over here, we have spirituality over here. We have all these different silos. And it's like, how can you heal anything or fix anything in a silo when all of those things are interconnected? They are not separate from each other at all. Now, you can go to a doctor for, medication for something, but there's so many other things that are influencing that one thing, the discoherence or the dissonance within the body itself,
Mhm.
because our mental health is affected not only by like our diagnoses and our traumas, but also like our physical health, like brain fog, having fluctuations in your blood sugar,
Yeah. Your hormones.
hydration,
Mhm.
your hormones, the food, inflammation, like all of that, like really affects all the other things. So if we're trying to just fix one thing, like that's not going to work because all the other things have like some sort of influence on that as well.
Mhm.
So I've been really working on what I call the whole human restoration project.
Okay.
And it is going to be a framework for other um, practitioners to utilize, and it can be utilized by any practitioner. You could be a therapist, you could be a nurse, you could be like whatever, but it gives them an opportunity to look at the whole human and how they are expressing their in like the experiences of their life through their current lens,
Hmm.
right? So like how like I mean they may be having issues with their sleep, but what's affecting their sleep? Or how are other things affecting that? Like their relationships, or they're drinking caffeine like right before like before they go to bed, or they're watching TV. There's so many things, but there's it all influences each other. So it's like trying to heal in a silo is not going to work. So it's like how can we look at the whole human? How are they seeing their life?
Hmm.
And how are the things that that they have experienced influence that?
Hmm.
So once we get a bigger picture, yeah, we're going to help them with the meds, we're going to help them with those things, but we can also be like, okay, well, this is another area where you could really like that would really influence all these other ones in a way that's effective, because you can make small little changes and they have a ripple effect, right? So
Yeah.
where are those small changes that we can make that have a ripple effect on the others? And then once that starts, then it's just like it starts to spiral, right? Because once people get a glimpse of like, holy crap, like
Hmm.
I can really start to feel good again. I
Yeah.
can start to
It's possible. Like this is,
feel
yes.
like legit. I can start to feel again and not be have it overtake everything. So I feel like that's just
Okay.
what's so important. And it's like I think everybody should be looked at through that lens of a whole person and not a diagnosis and not a symptom.
Well, when you said silo, I was like, holy crap. You're right. And but I never heard it said that way. A silo is cut off. The silo has one purpose,
Mm,
but our bodies aren't meant to have what you just said. I can't say it as eloquently as you. Every piece is interconnected. Our
hmm
being is interconnected. So it's not just a write a script and you're done and here you go. So a woman comes to you and she's like, I am struggling with my sleep. Okay, we get to figure out the why.
hmm
Why is that?
Right.
The when you say the why in traditional medicine, and there's always a place for it. For me personally, it's not my first go-to. Okay. But there is a place, and I'm so grateful. I live in the United States and have emergency health care for the
hmm
emergencies. But the why of why I'm not sleeping will not be diagnosed and treated in urgent care or ER.
mm Nope.
They don't have the ability. So
They
what
don't have
you're
the
creating,
time.
they took, no, not at all. Not at
Mm-mm.
all. So I'm
Mm-mm.
so excited you're creating this. Like I'm assuming it is going to be way bigger than your brain can even comprehend at this moment. But
It
how much
is.
service it's going to provide generations to come, right? Like you won't
Yeah.
see it come to fruition fully in your
Mm-mm.
lifetime. I mean, I
No.
wish you could. That'd be fantastic. You'll
Oh, but
see
I
it from a
will
different
see it from
lens.
up there
Yeah,
if I
as
need
yeah,
to.
right? Absolutely.
Be
Absolutely.
like, yeah, I created that.
There, uh-huh. Just so you know. You're welcome. You're welcome, Earth.
You're welcome, people. No.
Yeah. But it's
No, but
needed. That
it
and I'm glad I
is.
asked that question. I've had a ton of questions for you today, and I know we're gonna be here probably for another 10 minutes or so, but I wanted to know, and that is the answer. When
Yeah.
was there anything else you wanted to say about that before pivot? No. Okay.
No.
One other question I had was when you see someone spend so many years in survival mode, where does the healing, well, where have you found the healing begins? I think for someone listening or the people listening now that are on that cusp, I don't know. I would love your input from your perspective, from the clients you've seen, the support you give. Where does that healing actually begin?
Well, I think it begins in the conversation, right? Like, how many people get an opportunity without feeling like they're bogging people down or complaining or whatever, to have someone truly listen to what's going on in their life, like how they're feeling, like the things that they've been through, without judgment, without, oh my God, well, it's time to go. Can you please be quiet? Like, you know what I mean? But like really fully listen, right? And for someone to feel held in that space, I think that's reestablishing or helping to heal relationships. And I think that's kind of where it really begins is, feeling heard, feeling seen, being held,
Mhm.
um, and being able to say the things that are true to you, I think is kind of where it starts. And all the other kind of stuff comes in after. I mean, there's a laundry list of things that I do, but the human always comes before the modality. Like, what is that human needing? What is that human expressing? What is that human asking for? Because they might not even know. They maybe come into me like, oh, I want to do yoga. Well, okay, that's cool. We can do yoga. But really, is that the reason why you're here? Because you want to do yoga? Or is
The
it
answer
here because
is
you want to
never yes.
reconnect?
The-
Exactly.
like that's a for
Never that.
sure. It's never the yoga. That is why I am here. I mean, Pilates is my jam. When I lived in San
Oh,
Francisco,
girl.
that was my yoga, Pilates. Freaking love it. I didn't go to Pilates to do Pilates.
No. Mm-mm.
Never. It was never to do Pilates. It
Nope.
was about the connection. It was about the time I was giving myself to just be in my vessel.
Mm.
I don't know how
Oh,
to explain
yes.
it, but like there were so many downloads that would come when I was still enough and gave
Mm.
myself the space to fucking listen.
Yeah. 100%.
You can't make it up. It works at such a level for every individual. It is not cookie cutter. I mean,
Mm-mm.
pick the modality, pick the exercise, the movement for your body. Spin class, Tai Bo, whatever you want. Like people don't go for that.
Mm-mm.
They go for the internal transformation, the downloads that they get and receive on a soul freaking level.
Mm.
And the
100%.
connection and the
Yeah.
connections they make. Like that's why we
Yeah.
have best friends. That's why we have our soul sisters. That's why we have a tribe. And if you don't, I hope and I know you can get that. I do.
I'll be part of your
Absolutely.
tribe.
Right? Like, but that's why
Right?
they exist because it's a safe
Exactly.
space. It's a safe space for you to be exactly who you are in that moment
Mm-hmm.
without
100%.
any walls being built up.
Mm-hmm. Because
So,
when we start to think all the time, like the more we think, the more we take up space, and we are not allowing that internal knowing and that connection that I point above, but it's definitely in here, but
mhm,
people understand this more.
mhm.
Um, it's able to channel through you and to come through you and to share those insights and that wisdom. The more you struggle, the harder you push, the more you drive. It's like, yeah, have drive, have purpose, have, actions, but really, truly, it's not the overthinking of, oh my God, like all the fear, all that blocks the channel that we all are. We're all channels.
Oh, it mucks it up. It mucks it up so good. The
So
conversation
good.
between our ears when we are in the thick of it can get really freaking nasty. Really nasty.
Mm,
And it deters that path that's already laid for you. Y'all, that path is like gorgeous. Think of everything that lights you on fire as like heck to the yes, 1,000% sign me up. That's your path.
hmm.
Oh my gosh. The words that we say, and again, I've only been a woman my whole life, so I only know that dialogue. But that conversation, when I know I am anchored into, oh shit, Vicky's on fire, it's because that conversation between my ears is love and light and
Oh
everything
yeah.
fun and playful. When it's not,
Mm,
like yesterday afternoon, I was rude and I was mean and I was nasty. It took me like 2 hours to be like, why am I lying to myself? Why am I feeding myself this garbage? It's not
hmm.
truth. It's not that. But the awareness and the place that I'm at now, I'm able to make those shifts at a much rapid pace versus 8 years ago, Vicky, where it would have been days, maybe
Mm,
weeks
hmm.
for me to flip the switch,
Mm,
get back
absolutely.
onto that bright path, right?
Yes.
Your work now includes psychedelic preparation and integration.
Hmm.
And I don't know a lot of people that do this practice, but what's a topic for many people and maybe the curiosity about it I don't think it's fully understood.
No, I wouldn't say so, not quite
I
yet, but
like
it's
I
coming.
still feel it's like taboo. I want to keep saying
Hmm.
Tybo. Girl, not Tybo.
Yeah.
Taboo.
Taboo. Yeah, it is a little bit taboo still. But I think that, with all of the, even with the president signing that executive order, I'm seeing a lot more of it now. I'm seeing a lot more people, like instead of looking at me like, like they're more like leaning in, and I think that there's such a huge opportunity. And I don't know if you were going to ask me a specific question about it or if you wanted me to just talk about it because
Well,
I
I
can do
actually,
either or.
I was kind of waiting to see where you wanted to take this. I'm so open to this, but I think for my listeners, it's more of how do you okay, you already know that this serves and it's an experience for anybody willing and ready. But why do people want to do this?
Hmm.
Like maybe that's the question. I don't know. Maybe I'm just supposed to sit back and listen. But for my listeners, I do want to say that this is more taboo. Their awareness is very little, but I want them
Hmm.
to understand that this is an option.
Hmm. Definitely. Um, so I would say that they would want, like a lot of people want to do it because A, they've tried a lot of things, right? They're getting medication after medication, they're getting number and more numb, and they're getting like, this is forever going to be you. Continue to take this pill and you will, survive. But you don't want to just survive anymore. You don't want to be numb. Like you want to experience the world, right? And I think there's a lot of things and opportunities or things that psychedelics can bring, right? And it's not even just about the psychedelics. It's more about the prep, the experience, and then how you integrate it into your life afterwards. But for me, like I did my first psychedelic experience over 2 years ago now, almost three. And what I got from it, well, there's a couple big things that I kind of got from it. One was to learn how to self-soothe. In my experience, there was a lot of other things externally kind of going on. And it was a veterans ceremony. And so there's a lot of veterans, there's a lot of men, there's a lot, so there's a lot, and men veterans were like part of my trauma. So for me, I was like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, okay, okay. But, then I started to hum and I started to tap. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
then I started to be able to soothe myself in those moments, and I was able to like regulate my own breath, my own body, like my safety. So for me, that was really huge.
That's a big
Um,
teaching. Like that's
yes,
huge. That is huge.
huge teaching, huge. That's something that I have not been able to experience or be part of eh, through any other modality necessarily.
Hmm.
Um, and it also showed me the Matrix. I know people might think that's a little like
Woo
whatever,
woo, whatever. Yeah.
woo-hoo, whatever they want to call. I don't care. Like it is what it is. And if you want to have one of these experiences, like there's so many people who go in to these experiences, and I don't want to say it's like, everybody like you will know when you are done with that experience that you are no longer a speck of dust just flying around randomly, like no like place, no belonging, no love, no nothing. You will feel that love and you will understand that you can take up space and you will understand that you are not your experiences. You will understand that your body communicates with you through sensation. It's communicating what it needs. And sometimes we just don't know how to listen or how to respond to that. So it gives you an opportunity to really reconnect all of those pieces and then from there be able to come into life going, okay, like I know now that this experience is exactly that. Like, how can I fully experience life? Because I want to experience every opportunity, knowing that there is something greater at the same time. So I
Mhm.
think it helps shed a light or, on a path. And what you choose to do with that path is up to you.
Mhm.
And when you have someone that's guiding you through these things, and it's very like, by guiding, I don't mean like, oh, you do this, you do that. Like just being there and being supportive and letting the evolution of whatever's going to happen in your experience happen for you, and
Mhm.
just guiding that and supporting that. And then through integration, like that's when that neuroplastic window is active, right? Like we have developed these patterns, right? These neuroplastic pathways, or, the neural pathways.
Mhm.
And so like we go from something happens, we automatically go to that answer, whatever that answer the brain has already determined, right? So instead of going to that path all the time, now it gives you the awareness to stop for a moment and go, now I've started to think, maybe I want to choose differently, right? It creates that moment of awareness. And that moment of awareness is where all the magic is. Because once you
That
are
pivoting point.
aware, it is such a pivoting point. Because once you're aware, then you have an opportunity. You're like, oh, okay. Like, all right, I can choose something different. Now, does that mean that you're going to start doing it right away? No, it's a way to retrain your brain. Your brain's been trained to do this you know, for me, 46 years. Like my brain has been trained to work a certain way, like your default mode network.
Yeah.
And it's like, so breaking that up, like your body, when you go into medicine, that default mode network shuts off. And so you're able to experience yourself in a completely different context without all those lenses, without all those things that are like make you who you are, so to speak.
Mhm.
And so it just gives you an opportunity to explore in a completely different context. And you realize that what is right in front of you right now is not the full story
At all.
at
Yeah.
all. At all. Like we are trained, like our body is created in which to like slow everything down and condense it down into what we can actually handle. There's so much more going on in this world, but I mean, otherwise we would be overloaded and explode. Like,
Right.
our
Like
bodies are not
we
handle that.
that's how I'm so fun. I'm glad you said that because I think of it as a video game. I have not partaken in this modality of healing
Hmm.
yet. And what I've heard over and over again, and I've spent some time Googling, research this and that, but what I've realized is it's maybe a virtual reality game. We are at level one because
Hmm.
that's what our brains and body allow. Like reboot, start over, we're level one. When we tap into this modality, we have the token to go to level two, to level three, and get this awakening of what is truly there. It's not for everyone, but it is available, and I wanted to highlight it because it is a powerful tool for those that are looking for it. And you're a beautiful soul that offers them. It's a
Yeah,
whole process. I don't even know the whole process, but it is a process
it is
on top
definitely
of
a
a
process.
process.
Yeah, it is definitely a process. And there's different types too, right? So
Hmm.
I can serve psilocybin out in, Colorado
Hmm.
legally. But in New York, we're putting together a ketamine model. So that way, which is they incorporate it into psychedelics, but it doesn't work the same way as like psilocybin and stuff does. And plus, psilocybin's natural,
Hmm.
and ketamine is, made in a lab.
Hmm.
So I feel like there's different opportunities in different spaces. But and also it's not necessarily just like a big deep dive in. I think people are starting to explore a little
Hmm.
bit, and they're starting to dabble, and they're like, oh, I want all these amazing things that I hear that this medicine can do, but they don't understand it's not just the medicine, it's the prep and the integration, it's the the guidance and the wisdom that goes along with it for someone to help them through. So that's kind of why I created like my mycelium and microdosing course, right? Because
Mhm.
that way people when they do dabble, right, and they decide I'm going to try it, like whatever, and they have access to something that can help guide them through that process,
Yes.
right? Gives them support, like teaches them about like the ways in which the microdosing works, when not to, that kind of stuff, but also it teaches you tools, right? Like, okay, it's not just about that. It's like, okay, now I need to like, maybe I'll try breath work. Maybe I'll try, meditation, and maybe I'll try journaling. So these are all like tools, and not everybody has to, use them, but it's like, what works for you? This is
Yeah.
the discovery phase of how I can step into different ways of expressing myself in the world. Like,
Hmm.
how can I better show up for myself in a way that is coherent and is like truth?
I've heard that there and debunk this, but I've heard and read that more men and women in the service, retired or not, that struggle with PTSD. This has been a really amazing tool for them to do the healing that needs to be done, that gets to be done.
100%. Yeah.
You're smiling like yeah.
Yeah, that's where my heart space lies. I
Mhm.
just started Alchemy of the Sacred for women of sacred service. So veterans, first responders, and healthcare workers and people that like basically are already serving the collective as a whole.
Yeah.
Um, because like right now I feel like psychedelics has a real masculine like label, right? You see a lot of
Hmm.
it like you just said, PTSD, like I went and blew stuff up, I killed people, I had like all these moral injuries and all this. And yes, that is amazing and it does work for that. And it's incredible to see. I will say that I've seen lots of lives change in one night. And I will forever be grateful that I get to participate in that and to
Hmm.
experience that. And so I created Alchemy the Sacred because I feel like women look at psychedelics and they don't see themselves in it because maybe my traumas are a little more nuanced or a little softer, or maybe it's because I was sexually assaulted. Like, I don't, people aren't standing on the rooftops talking about that, but I want to talk about that. I want to share that
Hmm.
because it does help and it can help. And
Hmm.
that's why and I started, well, I created Alchemy the Sacred, but to create these containers and these conditions for people to be able to begin to take those layers off of whatever that was and really reveal who they are beneath all of that.
And you're facilitating that space to do so. Period.
Mm,
And that's
right.
and
I'm
I'm
not doing
so
anything. They
no,
are doing it all. Like
exactly.
they are doing it all. I'm just giving the space
Hmm.
and cultivating that curiosity
Hmm.
and having faith before they do. Because a lot of people don't have that faith, but I have it because I know. And so I will be that faith for you until you can have it for yourself.
Well, friends, before we press record, I'm trying to keep it to 30 minutes. How'd we
I
do?
know.
We doubled that, and that's fine because
We totally did. I'm so sorry.
don't be sorry. Again, I love doing this unscripted. And yes, I have my notes and I read things because I will forget if I don't. But this conversation is completely unscripted. I'm so glad it went the direction it did. I do
Mm,
have a closing question to ask you before we let our
sure.
listeners go. These beautiful souls that are here today, I really hope you share this with someone you love that needs to hear this. Maybe it's you. Maybe you get to make space in a quiet area. Maybe it's your car. Like, let's be honest, if you're a mother, maybe it's in your car when you go grocery shopping or run errands. Dedicate this time for you because there's something here. So, I asked this question before, and this is the reply that I got from you. The question was, what do I hope listeners walk away from? That was my prompting to Marlena.
Hmm.
This is what she wrote. And if there's something else you want to add, or it's shifted because our conversation, I'd love to hear it. So I hope listeners recognize that they are not broken. The ways we learn to survive can become layers that make it difficult to see or feel who we are underneath them. But our essence remains intact. I want someone listening to feel permission to become curious about their own life, not from judgment, but from compassion, and to remember that even the most difficult parts of their story may hold wisdom, meaning, and the beginning of something new.
Mm.
Freaking love it. Is there anything
Mm.
you want to add to that that you want our listeners to walk away from today? Away with today?
I would say that you're not alone, and that even though we experience life, through our own lens, like there is support, and, there's an opportunity for you to move past where you're at right now.
Mhm.
It's possible.
It's possible.
It's
Okay,
possible.
beautiful souls. Before we wrap up and say goodbye, Marlena generously and just like lovingly created a complimentary gift for you. And where's my notes? Because I'm going to butcher this. And it's
That's okay.
and it's called Autopilot to Alive. Okay, it's a grounding audio paired with a reflection guide that beautifully complements everything we talked about today. So if this conversation just dug at your heartstrings, your inner core, your inner knowings, like, yeah, this is for me, then it'll be down in the show notes for you to go a little deeper with yourself.
Mm,
It just really encourages you to be honest and authentic and hold space for what's ready to come through.
mm.
And she made it available to you. So, friend, Marlene, thank you so
Yay.
much for your time today,
Mm.
your wisdom, the downloads, and the way the conversation happened is just so beautiful. And I freaking appreciate you so much.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It was so much fun. And I love that it's unscripted and it's just about a conversation and everything else gets weaved in, right? Before we came on today, like I was like, I need to meditate before because it's like I want to clear out all that other stuff so I can open myself up to say what someone else needs to hear. And not because I'm saying it, because I feel like it's being channeled through me. And I'm so grateful for people like you that, give me my voice a place to be heard. And I appreciate that.
Always, always, friend. Okay, you guys, until next time. Bye.